Epilepsy warning for flashing lights and colors.
It's still summer, it's still hot, and we're talking about even more water slides today. Last year, I discussed the most intense roller coasters on Earth, but what about the most intense water slides? Well, after conducting a poll with my viewers, it's time to talk about the craziest ones still in operation. Before we get started though, I want to give a special shout out to my amazing Patreon supporters. With the advent of YouTube's push for shorter content and the unpredictability of ad revenue on the platform, Patreon support is absolutely essential to the future of this channel. On my Patreon page, you'll have access to 3 tiers, each with their own benefits. These benefits include your name in the credits, verbal shoutouts for new patrons, ad-free versions of my videos, and early video releases. In fact, you can check out an all-new video about Disney's forgotten water slide that was too dangerous to open to the public. See it weeks before its YouTube release on Patreon. You can find a link in the description. Also, check out my Instagram page for exclusive photos and reels. That all said, let's get started with the video. Number 10. Summit Plummet at Florida's Blizzard Beach. This ride is not just one of the most intense water slides on Earth, but also among the most intense attractions in all of Walt Disney World. First opening in 1995, Summit Plummet is the star of Disney World's Blizzard Beach water park. This park as a whole is heavily themed, based on the concept of a freak snowstorm hitting Florida and an entire ski resort opening. There are plenty of rides and slides to check out here, but the most notable of them all is the enormous Summit Plummet. Themed to a ski jump, passengers can either take the stairs or a chairlift to the top of the fictional Mount Gushmore to reach the top of the slide. As a kid, you may have looked at this slide and wondered how on earth you could ride it without flying off and dying. Well, it may look like riders are about to fly off the ramp from a distance, but it's actually some clever and creative theming. The bottom of this ramp has a hole in it for guests to go straight down. At a height of 120 feet, this slide is one of Disney World's tallest rides. The slide itself is a straight, steep drop where riders regularly reach a speed of around 60 miles per hour. Yes, 60. Believe it or not, this slide actually opened with a speedometer to let guests know how fast they went. I don't know whether or not it still works, but it definitely operated at some point. Overall, this slide alone is well worth visiting Blizzard Beach. And once again, you can head to Patreon to check out my video on the dangerous slide that never opened there via the link in the description. Number 9. Thrillgascar and Jungle Jammer at New Jersey's DreamWorks Water Park. Would you believe that the tallest water slides in America are at an indoor water park in New Jersey? Who'd have thunk it? These slides are found at the American Dream Mall's DreamWorks Water Park. As its name implies, this park is home to several slides and complexes themed to various DreamWorks properties. You've got Kung Fu Panda, How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek, and for this section of the list, Madagascar. These 2 slides named Thrillgascar and Jungle Jammer are each 142 feet tall, making them taller than any other water slide in North America. And as if the towering height wasn't intimidating enough, these are both trapdoor water slides. This model, known as a Skybox, is built by A-list Canadian water slide manufacturer Pro Slides. Both slides have passengers enter a capsule and lean back against the slide. After a countdown, the floor drops from underneath, sending riders into what feels like a free fall straight down. This slide right here is the world's tallest trapdoor slide with a straight drop, so it doesn't get much more terrifying than this. You may like to move it, but what happens when the direction is straight down? If you want to find out, book a ticket to New Jersey today. Number 8. Blizzard at Germany's Miramar. For those of you who haven't heard of Miramar, it really is worth discussing. This is perhaps the most surreal and colorful water park you'll ever hear of. Even from the outside, this park is a dreamlike and abstract sight. On the inside, you'll find a wide variety of sleek and insanely colorful slides. This park pretty much has something for everyone, but for this section of the list, we're talking about a slide named Blizzard. Not to be confused with the theme of Dragon Ball Super Broly, this slide was widely considered to be the most insane water slide in the world upon its opening. One look at any video clip of the slide will immediately explain why. The POVs look like the cameramen are about to no-clip into the back rooms, and you'll wonder how the people riding it are still in the same dimension by the end. Some would argue that the original slide was worthy of the #1 spot, but in recent years, the slide was modified to be slightly less intense. However, many agree that it's still a pretty extreme slide and well worth being on this list. This blizzard indeed has no chill. Number 7, Daredevil's Peak at the Bahamas Perfect Day at Coco Cay. This is by far the most fun you'll ever have on a downward spiral. First opening in 2019, this slide is part of the Perfect Day at Coco Cay water park. This vibrant and colorful park is situated on the tiny Caribbean island of Little Stirrup Cay. As a result, it can only be accessed via select Royal Caribbean cruise itineraries. The star attraction is a massive towering structure with several slides to choose from, the tallest of which is Daredevil's Peak. At an impressive 135 feet tall, Daredevil's Peak is an absolute waterslide Goliath. This psychotic red slide loops around the structure several times on the way down, allowing guests to gradually gain speed. On this ride, you'll experience a positive G-force so intense that it rivals most roller coasters out there. By the end, you may very well find yourself stunned.
Wow, oh my god, that was so fast!
If you're looking for a water slide that's elusive and exclusive, Coco Cay is the place to be.
Whoa! That was intense! Yeah!
Number 6, Turbo Blitz at Germany's Crystal Palm Beach. Many associate turning 16 with getting a driver's license. But how about being able to go down a water slide? Yes, this slide is in fact so intense that nobody under 16 is allowed to ride. I'm dead serious. Located at Crystal Palm Beach, this slide is world renowned for just how balls to the wall it is. But what exactly gave this slide its near R rating? Well, check out this layout. After a long drop downwards, you'll make a sudden right turn. This turn just smacks you with an absolute sledgehammer of G-force. And with no lifeguard at the top to check your position, reading the signage is an absolute necessity. According to YouTube channel Two Brides, the most important rule is to keep your hands behind your head throughout the entire ride, otherwise you will hit the surface of the slide. Ouch. The fact that this slide is intense enough for an age limit makes it well worth being on this list, but we're just about halfway done. Also, special thanks to YouTube user Rochin Club for providing their footage for this segment. Number 5, Vertigo at Qatar's Marial Water Park. I apologize if I mispronounced that. A few years ago, Canadian manufacturer Whitewater West and world-famous architect Tom Wright revealed their ambitious Icon Tower project. Opening as part of Qatar's Marial Water Park, this tower can be found just outside the capital city of Doha. From an engineering perspective, this is perhaps the most technologically advanced and visually astonishing slide complex ever built. This tower has 12 water slides in total, with each one being different. Among the attractions are 2 of the tallest water slides ever built, a body slide named the Fractionator and a trapdoor slide named Vertigo. At 250 feet tall, these slides are not only the tallest in the world, but they're actually taller than most roller coasters. In terms of intensity though, Vertigo is said to be far superior. With that kind of height, you may be wondering how Whitewater West expected people to climb the stairs. Well, guests don't actually take a staircase to the top, but instead ride on an elevator. As for the slide itself, it may not be a straight drop like Thrillgascar and Jungle Jammer, but what it lacks in its drop, it makes up for in length. This slide consists of a twisting, high-speed layout that lasts for around 40 seconds long. That may not seem long on paper, but for a high-speed body slide, it's pretty much unmatched. Once again, Two Brides chimed in, saying the slide was, quote, probably the most intense trapdoor slide we've tried. Whitewater West and Tom Wright have received high praise for the slide's design. And it's no surprise because Tom Wright also designed the famous Burj Al Arab Hotel. Number 4, Turbo at Hungary's Palatinus Aqua Park. Again, I apologize if I mispronounced that. On my last water slides video, we discussed the infamous Crazy River at Hungary's Anagora Aqua Park. That slide was made by a Hungarian manufacturer named Amnon Water Slide System. This company has built several water slides over the years, but the most intense one by far is their Turbo model. This often overlooked water slide may seem small compared to the others on this list, but it definitely packs a punch. Just look at this thing. This actually looks like it was AI generated, but it is in fact real. What's crazy about this slide is just how unassuming it is at first. You start off slow, but then you suddenly speed up and rocket downwards towards the pool below. You'll hit the water so fast that you'll actually skim across the surface on your bare back. Turbo is often overlooked by waterslide enthusiasts, but it really deserves more attention. Number 3. Insano at Brazil's Beach Park. It doesn't get much more insane than this. Just look at this image. This guy is literally lifting off the slide. For a slide that's over a quarter century old, Insano was certainly ahead of its time. At almost 135 feet tall, this slide once held the record as the tallest water slide in the world. Of course, holding a record is one thing, but this slide provided an insane experience to back that record up. Starting off with a mild straight section, you'll experience a grand buildup of anticipation. All of a sudden, you'll feel the bottom practically drop out from underneath you, sending you into what feels like a terminal velocity freefall. At the end, you'll hit a pool with an enormous splash, finishing off the experience with a bang. This slide is well worthy of its name, and although it hasn't held the tallest slide record for decades, it remains a top bucket list attraction for aquatic adrenaline seekers. Number 2. Wildbach at the Czech Republic's Aquapark Oleszna. You may be looking at this slide and thinking, what the hell dude, why is this slide at number 2? It looks like a kiddie ride. Well, here's the thing, the footage of this slide doesn't really do its terrifying intensity justice. Sure, there are no big drops or high-speed moments, but what puts this slide so high on the list is its current. Partway through the course, you'll enter a kidney-shaped pool. When you do so, you'll suddenly find yourself being pulled underwater. Unless you're prepared for the dip, you'll plunge under the surface. The pull is so forceful that there are ropes on the side of the slide to help people pull themselves back up. If those ropes weren't there, I wouldn't really have any way to prove how intense this slide is. Several people have described this slide as brutal and much more intense than it looks. The rest of the slide is a zippy, fun experience, but this one moment of forces beyond your control submerging you makes it clear why so many voters picked this attraction. Number 1. Kilimanjaro at Brazil's Aldeia das Águas Park. I mean, come on, look at this slide. How could it not be number 1? Like Insano, this slide is located in Brazil, and it stands tall as what you, the viewers, agree is the most intense water slide on Earth. This attraction uses the terrain to its full advantage, being built on a large hill. The slide itself goes down the crevice of the hill, making for a truly dreamlike sight. But what about the slide itself? Well, after a lengthy climb to the top, riders start off the course with a brief enclosed section. Then, you'll plummet down a drop of 164 feet, which still holds the record as the tallest straight water slide drop on Earth. If it weren't for the terrain, building this slide structure would be exponentially more difficult. But lucky for slide enthusiasts, this attraction allows for a world-class experience, and one that absolutely delivers on intensity. So which of these slides designs interest you the most? Are there any you think should have been included on this list? Feel free to drop a comment down below, pun intended. Finally, here's a special shout out to my newest Hyper Plus tier members. Dennis Panic, Imagination's Attic, Ollie4MN, Sebastian Spindler, Stephanie Campbell, subscribe to Thrills Universe, and Zinnia Weeble. Thank you all so much, and stay tuned for more content. Now it's time for the comment shoutout program. This is where I take 5 random comments from my previous video and read them out. These comments are from my video on the worst water slides ever. How to Roblox 8 says, on the flyover, I genuinely think I would drown. Just feeling of being sucked down a water slide. It's like being drained down a bathtub's drainage hole. By the way, thank you for teaching me so much about water slides, flat rides, and roller coasters with your videos. You're very welcome, How to Roblox. Obstapuit says, the upside down in a box one. At that point, just go to Niagara Falls with a barrel. Maddie Sensei Duhar 5312 says, I'm from Wisconsin and have rode the slide from Chula Vista for as long as I can remember and always thought it was cool and fun. Nevermind 8636 says, I'm from Italy, just went to Caneva. Unfortunately, the Twin Peaks slide you saw in the video was closed, but I often rode it other times and it's the coolest thing, very high adrenaline. And Era Sarah says, the Queen Suite slide. I saw someone in Japan go and ride it a few days ago or yesterday, and I think I knew the problem before. In the video, when they went down the slide, there was so much curves that her and her husband got hurt in the knees and other. If you want to see your words in my next video, leave a comment down below and it may be selected. Please note though that inflammatory or spam comments will not be read.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on social media on Instagram and Facebook, or you can check out my website at themeparkcrazy.com.
And I'm on TikTok.
This is Theme Park Crazy, and I'll see you all next time.